In the previous class, we have discussed about the preparations of aldehydes and ketones, and also some special methods for the synthesis of aromatic aldehydes and ketones. And today in this class, we are going to discuss about the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. Then coming to aldehydes and ketones, if we observe the bonding in the carbonyl group, the carbon of the carbonyl group is sp2 hybridized, and there is a double bond between oxygen and carbon. As we know that oxygen is having high electronegativity than carbon, it drags the electron density towards it. Hence, the electron density or this electron cloud, that is more towards oxygen. Hence, due to this, oxygen gets partial negative charge, whereas carbon gets partial positive charge. That is, oxygen gets partial negative charge, whereas carbon gets partial positive charge. Due to the partial positive charge on carbonyl, it can be easily attacked by the nucleophiles. Hence, these aldehydes and ketones, they undergo nucleophilic reactions. That is, nucleophilic addition reactions. Aldehydes and ketones, they undergo nucleophilic addition reactions due to the high electronegativity of oxygen. That oxygen, that means the pi electron cloud, actually it is more towards oxygen. Hence, oxygen gets partial negative charge and the carbon gets partial positive charge. Due to the partial positive charge of the carbon, it can be easily attacked by the nucleophiles. Hence, aldehydes and ketones, they undergo nucleophilic addition reactions. Then coming to the mechanism of this, there is a general mechanism for this nucleophilic addition reaction is like this. See here, first of all, this is the carbonyl compound. In that carbonyl group, carbon is having partial positive charge and oxygen is having partial negative charge. Then what happens, see here, this nucleophile, it attacks on the carbon, so that this carbon of the carbonyl group, which is actually sp2 hybridized before, by the attacking of nucleophile, it is converted into tetrahedral carbon. That is, it is acquiring tetrahedral configuration, and the oxygen is acquiring the negative charge. That means an intermediate transition state is formed in which the carbon is it is tetrahedral carbon and oxygen is having negative charge. That means by the attacking of nucleophile, carbon is converting into, or it is acquiring tetrahedral nature, whereas oxygen is acquiring negative charge, and formed this intermediate tetrahedral carbon. It combines with the positive part of the reagent, or generally H plus. That H is adds to the oxygen and the final product is formed generally. That means to the intermediate, this ion, actually positive part of the reagent, or generally proton adds to that O minus, and we get the final product. That means in the general mechanism of this nucleophilic addition reactions, first the nucleophile attacks on the carbonyl carbon to form an unstable transition state. In this state, carbon starts acquiring tetrahedral configuration and oxygen starts acquiring negative charge to give rise the intermediate. And in the second step, the intermediate, that means it combines with the positive part of the reagent, or H, for example proton, it combines with it and forms the final product. This is the general mechanism for this nucleophilic addition reactions. And moreover, see, in this nucleophilic addition reactions, if we compare the relative stabilities of aldehydes and ketones, generally aldehydes undergo nucleophilic additions more readily than ketones, because of generally it can be explained by first one is steric factors. As we know that in ketone we have, that means to the carbonyl carbon atom two alkyl groups are attached, whereas in aldehyde one alkyl group is attached as well as one hydrogen is attached. See here, actually in carbonyl carbon, that is in aldehydes and ketones, the carbon is in sp2 nature, that is having that means it is in planar state, while by the attacking of nucleophile in the intermediate state, the carbon is acquiring tetrahedral structure. That means the initial groups around carbonyl carbon, they start coming close together, because as they are coming close together, uh, that leads to steric hindrance. That means if larger groups attach to the carbonyl carbon, they tend to resist the crowding more than the smaller groups. As we know that ketone is having two alkyl groups, that is bigger groups, compared to aldehydes which is having one hydrogen and another one is alkyl group. Generally this aldehydes, that means the nucleophilic attack is easier in aldehydes, because the steric hindrance is less when compared to ketones. That is this nucleophilic attack is easier in aldehydes than in ketones. This is one reason. Another one reason is electronic factors. See here, if we compare in aliphatic aldehydes and ketones, the alkyl groups generally those are electron releasing groups. That means the presence of alkyl groups, they intensify the electron density on oxygen, thereby they destabilize the intermediate transition state, because we know that intermediate transition state is having this negative charge on oxygen. If alkyl groups are present on this carbonyl carbon, they intensify the electron density on oxygen, so it destabilizes the intermediate formed in the reaction. That means due to this, the reactivity of carbonyl compound for nucleophilic addition reaction decreases. That means more the number of alkyl groups present on carbonyl carbon, lesser the reactivity. Hence, ketones are lesser reactive than aldehydes, or aldehydes are more reactive than ketones. By these reasons, we can explain why aldehydes are more more reactive towards nucleophilic substitutions than ketones. The first one is steric factors, because as ketone it is having two alkyl groups around carbon. That means while acquiring, that is in the transition state, while carbon is acquiring tetrahedral state, these bulkier alkyl groups they resist to form the tetrahedral state. Hence the nucleophilic attack is easier in aldehydes which is having one hydrogen and another alkyl group, while compared to ketones. Another one is electronic factors, that is the presence of alkyl groups. As alkyl groups are electron releasing groups, they destabilizes the ion formed in the transition state. Hence more the alkyl groups, more that means destabilization of the ion. That means more the number of alkyl groups, lesser the reactivity towards nucleophilic substitution reactions. Hence aldehydes, they are more reactive than ketones. By this we can explain the reactivity of aldehydes and ketones towards nucleophilic substitution reactions. And next, see here, if we come to the first reaction, that is addition of HCN, and before going to this, see here, we can see, for example, the reaction of aldehydes or ketones with methanol or semi-carbazide. These reactions they undergo, that means this nucleophilic addition takes place in the presence of protonic acids like HCl and H2SO4. See this, the proton of the acid first adds to the carbonyl group, that is to the carbonyl oxygen. The proton adds to the carbonyl oxygen. What this makes the attack of nucleophile easier, since it facilitates the transfer of pi electrons to the oxygen. See here, for example, in the presence of acids, this proton adds to oxygen and it forms a positive carbonium ion. Hence, then what happens? It facilitates or it makes the attack of the nucleophile easier. Hence, in the presence of acidic conditions, this means it facilitates the nucleophilic addition reactions. And moreover, one more thing, if the excess acid presence, that is this acid catalyst if present in excess amount, then what happens? The nucleophilic addition, it becomes difficult, because what happens if excess acid is there, that means excess H plus is available. This excess H plus is which is available, it reacts with the nucleophile. Then what happens? It decreases the availability of the nucleophile, hence nucleophilic addition becomes difficult. These things we have to keep in mind. And moreover, if we take this addition of hydrogen cyanide, see aldehydes and ketones, they react with hydrogen cyanide to give alpha cyanoalcohols. They called as cyanohydrins. That is, the aldehydes and ketones, they react with hydrogen cyanide and they forms alpha hydroxycyanates or alpha cyanoalcohols. These are usually called as cyanohydrins. For example, if we see in this reaction, see here, this is aldehyde, it reacts with HCN. See here, the formed product is the CN attacks at carbon and hydrogen is at oxygen. Hence to this carbon CN and on the oxygen hydrogen, this is alpha cyanoalcohols. These products, these are usually called as cyanohydrins. See, for example, this is aldehyde is treating with HCN, it forms aldehyde cyanohydrin. For example, see here, this is the reaction, acetaldehyde is there. Acetaldehyde reacts with hydrogen cyanide, it forms acetaldehyde cyanohydrin. Then this reaction is carried out in basic conditions. That means aldehyde, it forms aldehyde cyanohydrin. For example, acetaldehyde is there, it forms acetaldehyde cyanohydrin. And next, see here, for example, if you take ketone here, this ketone reacts with hydrogen cyanide. Again, cyanide adds at carbon and hydrogen is at oxygen. See here like this. And the formed product is, that is also alpha cyanoalcohols. That is here, this is called as ketone cyanohydrin. For example, see here, this is acetone is there. This acetone molecule, it combines with this hydrogen cyanide. It forms acetone cyanohydrin. The product is called as acetone cyanohydrin. Acetone cyanohydrin means it is the product formed when acetone combines with the hydrogen cyanide. This is about this. And moreover, let us see. This is benzaldehyde. This is benzaldehyde. See here, when benzaldehyde reacts with hydrogen cyanide in the presence of basic conditions, it forms benzaldehyde cyanohydrin. See here, C6H5CH4, this is benzaldehyde, C6H5 and to the carbon cyanide group is attached and to the oxygen hydrogen is attached. This is known as benzaldehyde cyanohydrine. Then, and coming to this mechanism, see here, this is the mechanism. In this mechanism, that means the reaction of aldehydes and ketones with hydrogen cyanide to form cyanohydrine in the presence of base. See here, first what happens, actually HCN is having no lone pair of electrons on its carbon. In thus, it is unable to act as a nucleophile. It unable to act as a nucleophile. However, if the reaction is carried out in basic conditions, the hydrogen cyanide yields cyanide ion. This cyanide ion acts as nucleophile. For example, the formation of cyanide ion is like this. In the presence of basic condition, this is hydrogen cyanide. It loses H place and forms water, and here this is cyanide ion. And this formed cyanide ion it acts as nucleophile. That means in the presence of base, this hydrogen cyanide, it forms cyanide ion. This cyanide ion, it acts as nucleophile in this reaction. This is the first step, that is formation of cyanide ion in the presence of basic conditions. And in the next step, this formed cyanide ion, see here, let us see the next step. This is actually aldehyde or ketone. In this aldehyde or ketone, this cyanide attacks at carbonyl carbon. It leads to the formation of this ion, intermediate ion. See here, when cyanide attacks at carbonyl carbon, this oxygen gets negative charge, and then this intermediate ion, it combines with the positive part of the molecule or the reagent, that is H plus, and it forms the cyanohydrine. Very simple mechanism. In the first step, the nucleophile forms. Here the nucleophile is cyanide ion. This cyanide ion attacks on the carbonyl carbon to the formation of the intermediate ion. This intermediate ion, it combines with this water molecule and it forms the cyanohydrine. Actually, this is the reaction of this is the mechanism of the reaction of aldehydes and ketones with hydrogen cyanide. Then see here, the next reaction is addition of sodium bisulfite. Sodium bisulfite, that is when an aldehyde or ketone is treated with a saturated solution of sodium bisulfite, it forms an addition compound. For example, if aldehyde reacts with sodium bisulfite, it forms an addition compound called as aldehyde bisulfite. For example, see here, this is aldehyde. If it reacts with sodium bisulfite, it forms aldehyde bisulfite. See here, to this carbonyl group, the final product is like this. To this carbonyl group, SO3 Na group is attached, and to the oxygen group, OH group is attached. And in the same way, this is acetaldehyde is there. In this acetaldehyde, this is see here, it forms acetaldehyde bisulfite. That means aldehydes are ketones. They react with sodium bisulfite and they forms the corresponding bisulfite addition product. See here, this is acetaldehyde. It reacts with sodium bisulfite. It forms acetaldehyde bisulfite product. Then if you see the next see here, for example, this is benzaldehyde. Benzaldehyde reacts with again sodium bisulfite. It forms benzaldehyde bisulfite. Benzaldehyde bisulfite product. And then see here, let us see this, for example, ketones. Ketones, they react with sodium bisulfite and they form ketone bisulfite product. See here, again same SO3 Na groups attached here, and to the oxygen hydrogen is attached. simple. That means to guess the product, it is very simple. For example, acetone is there. Acetone is, if it is treated with sodium bisulfite, again it forms acetone bisulfite as the product. Acetone bisulfite as the product. That is, the corresponding bisulfite is formed. This is about the reactions of sodium bisulfite addition to the aldehydes and ketones. But if we see the mechanism, see here, this is one more reaction. Benzaldehyde, when it is treated with sodium bisulfite, it forms the addition product. See, coming to the this mechanism of addition of sodium bisulfite, it involves, in the first step, the sodium bisulfite, it ionizes to form bisulfite ion, which acts as nucleophile. See here, in the first step, this sodium bisulfite, it forms the bisulfate and ion, or the bisulfite ion, which acts as nucleophile in this reaction. That means it is dissociates into sodium ion as well as bisulfite ion. They act, this bisulfite ion acts as nucleophile in this reaction. See here, in the second step, the formed bisulfite ion, it attacks the carbonyl carbon, leading to the formation of an intermediate which is having negative charge on oxygen. That means the formed bisulfite anion or bisulfate ion, this bisulfite ion, it attacks on the carbon of the carbonyl carbon or carbonyl group, and it forms an intermediate ion in which oxygen is having negative charge. And in the third step, see here, and this product is formed, and in the next step, a proton from this SO3H group of this intermediate, that is the proton of the SO3H group of the intermediate, it gets transferred to the negatively charged oxygen by rearrangement. That means this hydrogen goes here, that is, this becomes OH. As a result, what happens, this SO3 minus group is left behind in the intermediate. Then the negative group is neutralized by this Na plus to give the final product. In this what happens in this intermediate state, which is having a negative charge on oxygen, in this some rearrangement takes place. In this, the hydrogen from this SO3H group goes to oxygen, and it converted into OH, and this SO3 becomes SO3 minus, and this SO3 minus is neutralized by this Na plus ions. It forms the bisulfite addition product. This is the mechanism in which first sodium bisulfite is dissociated into sodium plus and bisulfite ion. This bisulfite ion acts as nucleophile and attacks at the carbonyl carbon, forms the intermediate which is having negative charge on oxygen. Then it undergoes rearrangement so that the hydrogen from SO3H group transfers to the oxygen. It forms SO3 minus, and this SO3 minus is neutralized by the sodium plus ions formed in the first step, so that the bisulfite addition product is formed. And see here, and this bisulfite addition products, they decompose on treating with acids. Again, they forms the aldehydes, that is carbonyl compounds. For example, see here, this is the bisulfite product. This is the bisulfite product. It treating with acids, it again forms the original carbonyl compound. That means treating with acids, they form the carbonyl compound again. Hence, this addition reaction with sodium bisulfite, it is used for the purification and separation of carbonyl compounds. Because for the separation and purification of carbonyl compounds, this reaction is used. Because by using this sodium bisulfate, what happens, the carbonyl group is converted into bisulfite product. And again, this bisulfite product easily separated, and with treating with acid, it is again converted into carbonyl compound. So that this bisulfite addition reaction is used as that means used for the purification and separation of carbonyl compounds. And next, see here, uh, the next reaction is addition of water. Actually, water reversibly adds to the carbonyl compounds and it forms gem diols. These gem diols are unstable and the equilibrium mostly lies towards the left. That means addition of water, it again reversibly forms the carbonyl compounds again, because this addition of water, it forms gem diols. See, gem diols are generally unstable, and in this reaction, the equilibrium lies more towards left side. Hence, again, it reversibly it forms the carbonyl compound again. This is about the addition of water. The next reaction is the reaction with alcohol. Alcohol adds to a carbonyl group of an aldehyde, or on for example, alcohol adds to the carbonyl group of an aldehyde in the presence of acid. First it forms hemiacetal. This hemiacetal is unstable and it reacts with another molecule of alcohol to form acetal. See here, for example, see for example, this is aldehyde. When alcohol is reacted with aldehydes in the presence of acids, it forms hemiacetal. In this hemiacetal, see here the difference to the carbonyl carbon. This OR dash, this OH group and OR dash groups are attached. This is called as hemiacetal. Generally, these hemiacetals are unstable, and the formed hemiacetal is again it reacts with one more molecule of this alcohol, and it forms an acetal. It forms an acetal. That means alcohol reacts with aldehydes in the presence of acids. It forms hemiacetal first. This hemiacetal is unstable and it reacts with one more molecule of the alcohol, and it forms acetal as the product. See here, this is the mechanism. Actually, in this mechanism, first alcohol, it reacts with this carbonyl compound. It leads to the formation of hemiacetal, and this hemiacetal in the presence of acidic conditions. See here, this H plus adds at oxygen and it converts oxygen into O plus, OH2 plus, and this OH2 plus is removed as water. So we get carbonium ion here. The carbonium ion is formed again. It reacts with one more alcohol group. See here, this we get this again oxygen plus, and in the next step, see here, with the removal of proton molecule, we get the acetal. This is the reaction, very simple mechanism. First of all, the reaction with carbonyl compounds, the alcohol react with carbonyl compound. See here, the negative OH minus attacks at carbon and the R plus it attacks at oxygen to the formation of hemiacetal. This hemiacetal is unstable and it reacts with, that means in the presence of acidic conditions, the OH becomes OH2 plus, and the OH2 is removed as H2O, and we get the carbonium ion here. And this carbonium ion again reacts with one more molecule of alcohol, and we get, see here, with the loss of this proton, we get this acetal molecule. This is the mechanism of addition of alcohol to the aldehyde. And next, See here, for example, if ketone is taken, the ketone reaction with alcohol is also similar as of aldehyde. As aldehyde forms acetal first, this ketone forms, sorry, aldehyde forms hemiacetal first. This ketone with first, that means treating with alcohol, it forms hemiketal first. This hemiketal again reacts with one more molecule of alcohol and it forms ketal, hemiketal to ketal. That means alcohol, that means ketone, when it reacts with alcohol, it forms first hemiketal and the next ketone. See here, this is ketone. When it is reacted with alcohol, it forms first hemiketal, and this hemiketal again treating with one more alcohol group, it forms ketone. This is the addition of alcohol to aldehydes and ketones to the formation of acetols and ketones. And the next is reaction with or action with ammonia. See here, first the action with ammonia means the formaldehyde reaction is different. See here, when formaldehyde it reacts with ammonia to give hexamethylene tetraamine, it is commonly known as eutropine. That is, see here, this is aldehyde. It aldehyde reacts with ammonia, that means 6 moles of formaldehyde, it reacts with 4 moles of ammonia, it forms hexamethylene tetraamine compound, which is commonly known as eutropine. It commonly known as urotropin. This urotropin is used as a medicine for urinary infection. Very important compound. This is used as a medicine for urinary infections. See here, the next, see here, this is the structure of urotropin, having 6 methylene groups and 4 amine groups. This is urotropin structure. If you observe this, having 1, 2, 3 and 4 in nitrogens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 CH2 groups, hexamethylene tetraamine group, tetraamine compound, that is urotropin. And see here, next, this aldehyde reacts with ammonia, it forms aldehyde ammonia. See here, this RCHO, it reacts with NH3, it forms RCH, NH2 and OH, aldehyde ammonia. This aldehyde ammonia is generally unstable and it loses water to form aldimines. The formed aldehyde ammonia is actually generally unstable and it forms aldimine by the removal of water molecule. And moreover, the formed aldimines are highly reactive and they polymerizes to form cyclic trimers generally. See here, let us see one example. For example, acetaldehyde is there. This acetaldehyde with ammonia, it forms this acetaldehyde ammonia product, which with the loss of water molecule, it forms aldimine product, acetaldimine. And this aldimine which is formed, actually it is highly reactive, and if you observe this 3 moles of this aldimine product, it undergo polymerization and it forms a cyclic product, or generally cyclic trimers are possible from these aldimine compounds. Okay, that means first this aldehydes with ammonia, it forms aldehyde ammonia product. With loss of water molecule, they form aldimines. These aldimines are highly reactive and they undergo polymerization to the formation of cyclic trimers. And next, see here, coming to the reaction of ketones. ketones, they do form ammonias, but these cannot be isolated. For example, acetone on treating with ammonia uh, at high temperature, it forms diacetone amine. That means the acetone ammonia, it again reacts with one more molecule of acetone and it forms diacetone amine. See here, 2 moles of acetone molecule reacts with ammonia at high temperature, it forms diacetone amine product. Unlike aldehydes, here 2 molecules of acetone reacts with the ammonia. This is the reaction with ammonia. And next, see here, next reaction with hydroxylamine, that is NH2OH. When aldehydes are treated with this hydroxylamine, it forms aldoxymes. See here, aldehydes and ketones, they react with hydroxylamines and they form corresponding oxymes. That means when aldehydes are treated with hydroxylamine, the formed products are called as aldoxymes, while ketone with hydroxylamine, they form ketoxime product. For example, see here, this is aldehyde, it reacts with hydroxylamine. Generally this reaction is carried out in the presence of acidic conditions, and it forms, see here, aldoxym with the loss of water molecule. Generally this reaction we can expect the product like this. See here, with the loss of this water molecule, C double bond NOH, we get this molecule. This is called as aldoxym. And moreover, see here, for example, this is formaldehyde is there. Formaldehyde, it reacts with hydroxylamine in the presence of acidic conditions. It forms this formaldoxime with that is water molecule is eliminated. For example, let us say another reaction. This is acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde, it reacts with hydroxylamine. It forms acetaldoxime. See, means all the enzymes are the products. That means we expect the product like this. See here, with the loss of water molecule, they form this acetaldoxime. See, like this acetaldoxime is formed, and right, coming to ketones, they react with this hydroxylamine. Again, they form with the loss of water molecule, they form ketoxymes. The products are called as ketoxymes. For example, let us see one reaction. This is acetone reaction. Acetone reacts with hydroxylamine and it forms acetoxime product. With the loss of this water molecule, it forms acetoxime product. In the same way, when this okay, this one, and for example, this is benzaldehyde is there. When benzaldehyde is treated with this hydroxylamine, it forms benzaldoxime. That means aldehydes and ketones, they react with hydroxylamine and they form the corresponding oxymes as the product. And see, these formed oxymes on treatment with catalyst like phosphorus pentachloride and SOCl2 and polyphosphoric acid, or like concentrated H2SO4, these oxymes, they undergo rearrangement and they forms substituted amides. And in this rearrangement, the group which is anti to the OH group, that group generally migrates and the substituted amides formed in this rearrangement. For example, see here, in this reaction, the C6H5 group is anti to OH group, so that this group migrates and this type of product. See here, the C6H5 group migrates to nitrogen and this type of amides are formed in this reaction. And for example, if you see this, if you observe this molecule, in this the methyl group is opposite to OH group. So in the presence of catalyst, this methyl group migrates to here nitrogen and we get this type of substituted amides. That means oxymes in the presence of catalyst, catalysts like thionyl chloride, phosphorus pentachloride, and concentrated sulfuric acid, they undergo some rearrangement and to the formation of substituted amides. In this, generally the group which is anti or which is trans to the hydroxyl group, that group undergoes that means it undergoes migration and to the formation of substituted amides. This rearrangement is known as Beckmann rearrangement. This is known as Beckmann rearrangement. Okay, I mean today actually we have discussed about the reaction with, that means we have studied some chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. In that we have discussed about addition of hydrogen cyanide. By the addition of hydrogen cyanide, aldehydes and ketones they form cyanohydrins. And the next reaction is addition of sodium bisulfite. With the addition of sodium bisulfite, aldehydes and ketones they form bisulfite addition products. And next, that is the reaction with water. Reaction with water, these carbonyl compounds they form gem diols, but gem diols are generally unstable. Hence the reaction is, that means addition with water, it forms reversibly the carbonyl compounds again. Next, the reaction with alcohols. First, aldehydes they react with alcohols, they form hemiacetals. Hemiacetals are unstable. Again, hemiacetals reacts with one more alcohol group to the formation of acetal product. In the same way, ketols they react with alcohol to the formation of hemiketal, and again to the with one more alcohol molecule it forms ketal again. Next, the reaction with ammonia. Formaldehyde reacts with we studied that formaldehyde reacts with ammonia, that is 6 moles of formaldehyde reacts with 4 moles of ammonia to the formation of hexamethylene tetraamine product, that is commonly known as urotropin. Urotropin is used as a medicine for urinary infections. And aldehydes they react with ammonia to the formation of aldehyde ammonias. Generally aldehyde ammonia they are very highly reactive and they undergo polymerization and formed as cyclic trimers. And moreover, see here like this, they formed as like this. And moreover, see here, this aldehyde ammonia are formed with when aldehyde is treated with ammonia. These aldehyde ammonia they lose water molecule to the formation of aldimines. These aldimines undergo polymerization to the formation of cyclic trimers. While coming to ketones, that means the ketone ammonia products are they cannot be isolated, but when ketones they react with ammonia, for example acetone molecule is there, the two molecules of acetone reacts with one molecule of ammonia and it forms diacetone amine product at high temperature. And next, reaction with hydroxyl amines. Reaction with hydroxyl amines, aldehydes and ketones they form oxames as the product. For example, aldoxames and ketoxames like that. And that means with the loss of water molecule. For example, aldehyde reacts with hydroxylamine, with the loss of water molecule it forms aldoxame, while ketone reacts with hydroxylamine it forms ketoxame. And these formed oxames they undergo some rearrangement in the presence of catalysts like thionyl chloride, PCl5 and concentrated sulfuric acid. Some rearrangement takes place in which the group which is anti to the OH group it migrates, and after the rearrangement substituted amides are formed. This is known as Beckmann rearrangement. And with this I conclude today's session, and tomorrow, that is in the next class, we will discuss some more chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. Thank you.